Honorable Mulambo Haimbe, State Council, Member of Parliament, Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs, who is also Minister of Justice, Ms. Tambuyo Anamela Ganderson, Permanent Secretary, International Relations and Cooperation in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Relations, Zambia, His Excellency Mr. Andrew Banda, Ambassador of the Republic of Zambia to Korea, Mr. Lee Sung-won, Secretary General, the Korea World Association for Small Medium Enterprises, our Honorary Consul for Zambia to Korea, Mr. Lee, the GBA Chairperson, Mr. Sinan Ostek, Captains of the Industry, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to today's Business and Investment Country Session for Zambia, which is taking place on the sidelines of the Korea-Africa Summit. Honorable Minister and your delegation, you're welcome to this forum. Good morning once more. May I take this opportunity? I know you may be wondering who our Honorable Minister is. I'll ask our Honorable Minister just to be upstanding Honorable Minister so that people can know who our Honorable Minister is. Let's welcome the Honorable Minister. You're welcome, sir. I also request that our Permanent Secretary also be upstanding so that people can know who our Permanent Secretary is. You're welcome. Your Excellency, Ambassador Banda, I also request our Honorary Consul, Mr. Lee. I also request Dr. Wu just to be upstanding so that you can be recognized. I also request Mr. Oshinan to be upstanding so that we can recognize you. Thank you very much. My task is simple. At this juncture, I'll just call upon His Excellency Ambassador Andrew Banda just to give us his welcoming remarks. Your Excellency, sir.
Honorable Minister, our Minister, Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Mulambo Haimbe, State Council, the Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Tambuyo Anamela, the President, or all distinguished guests, shall I just say ladies and gentlemen. Director of Ceremonies, I just wish to say to you, thank you very much for having organized this this function this morning. I know what you've gone through with your team to be where we are today. But allow me to say this, Director of Ceremonies, and I admit so, that very little is known about our dear country, Zambia, in Korea, and vice versa. Very little is known about Zambia here in Korea. Zambia has a population of over 20 million people, surface area of 752,000 square kilometers. 40% of water bodies in the southern region are all in our dear country. Zambia's economy depends mainly on abundant minerals. Those minerals are copper, cobalt, lithium, gold, and others. We are one of the largest producers of copper in the world, think in Africa, we are perhaps the second largest producer of copper after Congo. But a lot needs to be done with our copper or with our raw materials. Why is it, Honorable Minister, my dear brothers and sisters, that a country of 20 million with such abundant resources still remains poor? There is something that is in common, that we have in common with Korea. Korea tasted poverty. Over 60 years ago, Korea was poorer than Zambia. What has made Korea be what it is today? Hard work. Hard work. Investment in education, Honorable Minister. Investment in technology. Investment in discipline. Our economy depends on manufacturing. Our economy depends on mining. Our economy depends on energy. And our economy depends on agriculture. Our economy depends on education and others, which are very common here. We need to emulate, Honorable Minister, what our colleagues have done here. Yes, they've been to war. We have never experienced war. I said to one of the business teams that visited our embassy, when General Solochi visited here, they said to us, you've brought a military team here to visit us. What has the Zambia National Service got to do with the development? Are they supposed to be at war? I said, our country is at war with poverty. And indeed, we are at war with poverty. We need your investment. Zambia, for the business committee that is here, is the safest destination in Africa, investment destination. Why do I say so? And I keep saying that every time we meet our colleagues with my team at the embassy. We've had, over the last 33 years, our country has elected 7 different presidents. It's one thing electing a president in Africa. It's another handing over power peacefully. And our country has demonstrated that. And I can safely and confidently say that we are one of the safest business destinations in the world, in Africa. We've changed. It's not just changing presidents. 4 political parties have governed our country. I'll be specific. UNIP from 1964 to 1991. MMD for 20 years. The Patriotic Front for 10 years. And now the UPND. Very unique. You can go to other parts of Africa. I'm a diplomat. I'm not going to look down upon other democracies in that region, but we stand out. They change presidents within the same political parties. It has been like that for years, and for over 30 years. Others even more. So we are unique. What makes Zambia also unique is it's surrounded by it's surrounded by 8 countries. We are land linked. You invest in Zambia, you have invested in 8 different countries. I can mention some of the countries. We're talking about Botswana. By the way, one of the companies could be here. A Korean company built a bridge in Zambia, the Kazungula Bridge, which borders Mozambique, which borders Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, and ourselves. So that's what Zambia is all about. We have Botswana, we have Zimbabwe, we have Angola, we have Mozambique, we have Malawi surrounding us. So you invest in a country, you have invested in those countries indirectly. We're asking you, Korean businessmen, look to Zambia. Don't worry about the distance. Some of the businessmen we've met, they've said to us, but Zambia is very far. But what about China? China is very far as well. But they've been very aggressive in Zambia. You can be aggressive as well, and you are aggressive. you're welcome to our country. We're there. Our mandate is to encourage investment between Zambia and Korea. So I'm very proud to be here, Master of Ceremonies. Very proud to meet this group. I never thought this thing would be a success. Minister, those are the few words that I had to say. I thank you all and welcome to the meeting. May God bless you.
Thank you, Excellency, for those encouraging words. Indeed, very little is known about Zambia by Korea and vice versa. But we believe through the interactions that we've been having and also the participations that we've been having at different forums and exhibitions, we are making headway. And we are happy we're even having this forum to actualize what we've been trying to do for the country. At this juncture, I'll call upon Dr. Liwu Sungu, Secretary General for the World Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, to give his remarks. Dr. Lee.
Thank you. First of all, I really am happy to be here to get a share the good opportunity to have a share the forum. Congratulations to the Zambian Business and Investment Forum. You know, Zambia is geographically really a very good connection with, we just already mentioned the ambassador, there are 8 different neighbor big African countries. So it's also Zambia is a very good country to pursue variety marketing activity. You know, how about the Zambia is a lot of wonderful tour spots. One of the, you know that Livingstone and the wonderful, have you been there before? Livingstone waterfall as the one of the world's the 3 major biggest beautiful waterfall in the world. And Zambia is amazing, extremely to wide spaces, 7 times more bigger than Korea. Its abundance of natural resource is one of the opportunity we want to continue to have together with the Zambia. And one is there are hills, and let's see that. In particular, based on the Korea's high outstanding advanced technology, information, organization, comprehensive view of we have developed capability, and Zambia's abundance area of the country, huge resource. So we want to have continuous working with in Zambia, engaging in and export development. We want to have more quickly to promotion in Zambia to work together. So help to creation real development opportunity with Zambia at home. So I will do my best to share together with the comprehensive work in the future together. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, for your remarks. Indeed, there are so many possibilities that Zambia has to offer. Combined with Koreans' capability, there is much that we can accomplish. We could leverage on the technology that Korea has. At this juncture, I'll call upon Ms. Zila Milupi, our Assistant Director for Investment Promotion at the Zambia Development Agency, to give a presentation on investment and trade opportunities in Zambia that are available. So, Madam Zila, it's your show.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Allow me to write on the protocols earlier established by the ambassador. Just as he sets up my PowerPoint presentation, I'll introduce myself again. My name is Zila Milupi, and I'm the Assistant Director for Investment Promotion at the Zambia Development Agency. The Zambia Development Agency is essentially the investor's entry point into Zambia. We issue investors licenses, but we also provide market intelligence information and we handhold investors from commitment of the projects through to actualization of their projects. So following this, I look forward to speaking with as many of you as possible. Hopefully everybody, I'll get a chance to introduce myself to everybody. And hopefully then we'll also meet again in Zambia. What a privilege it is for me to stand here amongst friends of the country and discuss potential or share with you opportunities that our country offers. So in this presentation, I will just give an overview of Zambia at a glance, and then I will take you through the priority sectors as declared by the government of the Republic of Zambia. And to close, I'll also share with you some of the existing fiscal and non-fiscal incentives that are available for investors. So to start with, Zambia at a glance. His Excellency the Ambassador already spoke about the political stability of the country, and in Africa, statistically it ranks in the top 10%. As he mentioned as well, we have regular democratic elections, and since 1964, essentially we've evaded the story of other African democracies of upheaval, and essentially Zambia is a very safe destination for your money, because you know that despite any change in government or so on, there is still a stable economic environment. We also have a strong legal system based on the British common law. And with the present government under the United Party for National Development, there's a very strong emphasis on private sector being the backbone of economic growth. And so there are various private sector policies that have been put in place. I would like to maybe just bring to your attention the establishment of some key institutions that sit directly under the President, the Office of the President. These are the Presidential Delivery Unit, and the Forum for Public-Private Development Dialogue Forum. Essentially, these institutions have been established to unlock rigidities and to ensure that there is a stable economic and political environment that allows for dialogue directly between the government and private sector. And I think all of this goes to speak to the emphasis and the friendliness towards investor relations that Zambia presents. Zambia is one of the fastest growing economies in Africa, projected to grow from this year, 2024, to 2028, projected to have a real GDP growth rate up from 4.3% up to 5.1%. As the ambassador mentioned earlier, we have a population of 20 million, and our GDP stands at $29 billion. And our GDP per capita growth per annum is 15%. Further, our exports are expected to rise at about 11% annually over the next 8 years. And in 2028, it is expected that our exports will be at 19.8 billion US dollars. Further, interest from foreign direct investors has been on the increase. Since 2021, we've seen a total of committed investments of 50 billion US dollars. And so this basically shows the growing interest and confidence in Zambia as an investment destination of choice in Africa. Traditionally, our major exports have been copper and cobalt, although this presentation will also share with you the ways that we are strategically diversifying our economy to grow the productivity of the country. The kwacha, which is the currency of Zambia, currently trades at about 25, 26 kwacha to the US dollar. My apologies, I didn't update the minimum wage, but it's the highest bracket of minimum wage is at about 200 US dollars per month, which basically allows for the establishment of, low cost of setting up of businesses. As mentioned as well, we have a linkage to 8 immediate neighbors plus 2, being Burundi and South Africa. And I'll be able to share with you in the next slide the trade corridors that have been established. But beyond just the immediate neighboring countries, and also the Southern African Development Community, Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, we also have access to the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which has a population of 1.3 billion people and a combined GDP of 3.4 trillion US dollars. This essentially shows that beyond our population of 20 million people, you have immediate access to much wider market. Zambia is strategically positioned as a logistics and regional hub in the region. This slide shows you the established trade corridors that we have, perhaps the most established being the north to south corridor that you see stretching just above Tanzania from Burundi, all the way going down to through Tanzania, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Botswana, and down to South Africa, down to the Durban port. This is where we claim the +2 because we have this established trade corridor to Burundi and to South Africa, albeit them not being immediate neighbors to the country. We also have an established railway out to the Dar es Salaam port to the east in Tanzania. And there is also the Trans-Zambezi corridor, which goes out to the west in Namibia at Walvis Bay port. And significantly, the Lobito corridor is currently under feasibility study and expected to the infrastructural development on that to begin in the coming next year or so. And this connects Zambia to the port of Lobito to the east, but it also goes through the Democratic Republic of Congo, which opens us up to a population of 100 million in DRC, giving us direct access to that population and markets as well. So I hope that you can keep this in mind as we look through the different priority sectors and the opportunities there, just to show how strongly linked Zambia is to the region. Zambia is also easily accessible by air. We have 3 international airports, one in Lusaka being Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, in Livingston, the home of the Mosi Otunya Force, being Harry Morgan Kumbula International Airport, and a third being Simon Mwanza-Kapekwe in the Copper Belt, the mining region of Zambia. And these are the various local and international airlines that service the country. So just to take you into the priority sectors, I will begin with energy. As we talk about increasing the productivity of the country, it truly is prudent to begin with energy, given that it's one of the key drivers for economic growth. So, 2 key highlights of the energy sector in Zambia is that there's a very high generation potential at low production costs. And additionally, there's a rapidly growing domestic and regional market for the supply of energy, which I will now give further detail on. Zambia essentially runs on renewable energy. The vast majority of the energy currently produced is hydroelectric power. However, there is also, given the climate change and the imperative to increase our energy mix, we also wish to highlight the potential for solar and wind energy generation in Zambia. I will start with hydroelectric power being our traditional source of energy. As was mentioned before, Zambia is the home to the largest concentration of inland water bodies in Southern Africa. We hold about 40% of Southern Africa's fresh water. And this translates to a potential of about 6 gigawatts per annum. With respect to solar energy, our solar irradiation levels are amongst the highest in the world, with 3,000 hours of sunshine annually. And this translates to 2.3 gigawatts potential. With wind power potential, we have up to 6 gigawatts with several projects already under development. In the energy sector, there are also a number of compelling tax incentives, including duty-free import of implements and equipment, accelerated depreciation. In addition, the landscape is fairly accessible, which reduces the cost of setup of wind and solar installations. I would also just like to point out the support shown by government to independent power producers. There is an open access regime which is currently being implemented, and what this allows is for independent power producers to tap into the national grid to supply energy to any off-taker using the national grid that is owned by the Zambia State Electricity Corporation. So this essentially opens independent power producers up to trade with any off-taker, both locally or in the region. In terms of the growth of the market expected by 2023, the country will need to increase its energy production by at least 13.8 terawatts. This is to meet the this is to support the expected growth, particularly in the mining sector and agriculture, as well as commerce and industry, and also residential increased demand for electricity by 2030. And so you can see a breakdown in terms of where the utilization of electricity is expected to grow. And what this translates into by 2030 is an annual a total of $775 million in energy tariffs. And so that's essentially the size of the market that's expected by 2030 annually. So if we have any investors in the energy space, you can see just how lucrative the Zambian market is over the next few years. I would also like to highlight some successful investments recently made in the country. We have a 2 billion commitment by Mazda, which is to generate 2 gigawatts in collaboration with the Zambia Electricity State Corporation. There was also a 7.5 million investment by Northland, IFC and KFW, used to construct 60 mini-grids. And we also had a 40 million investment by Eno to establish a 34 megawatt solar facility. Some projects that are available that are open for investment include a hybrid solar wind plant of 71 megawatts, a hydro project of 180 megawatts, and a second hydro project of 118 megawatts, ranging between 90 million US dollars and 600 million US dollars. So this is just to give you a teaser of some of the profile projects that are readily available, and we'd be happy to share further information on these as well as many others that have already been profiled. Moving to the next priority sector, being critical minerals, and specifically value chain development of critical minerals. I'll begin with mining, being a traditional economic activity of Zambia. We are the second largest copper producer in Africa, second only to the Democratic Republic of Congo, with whom we have signed a memorandum of understanding to collaborate on critical minerals development. We have our high-grade copper deposits is above the global average of 0.8, our standard 2 to 3%. And we currently produce about 800,000 metric tons per annum. We also have a range of critical minerals that I'll be able to show you in the coming few slides. Due to recent private sector reforms in the mining sector, we have seen investments upwards of 4.5 billion US dollars unveiled in 2024. And this again shows the confidence, the growing confidence in investing in Zambia. The government of the Republic of Zambia aims to produce 3 million metric tons, up from the 800,000 per annum of copper. And essentially, about 2/3 of this 3 million metric tons will have to come from new sites. And this has resulted in government commitment to an allocation of resources for geological mapping, aiming to have 100% geological mapping of the country by the end of this year. About 52% of the country has already been mapped, and this gives an indication of some of the mineral occurrences in the country. So you will note that we have deposits of cobalt, copper, graphite, lithium, manganese, nickel, rare earths, and tin. Many, if not all of these, are falling in the bracket of critical minerals to power the green energy transition. So Zambia is strongly inviting investors into the exploration space to open up and discover new sites for the mining of these minerals. Further, we also are seeking investments in midstream and downstream processing of these critical minerals. So beginning with the critical minerals beneficiation, through to the manufacturing of cables and battery components, and eventually even the manufacturing and assembly of EVs, of electronic vehicles and electronic vehicle batteries. The country has a special economic zone in the copper belt region of Zambia, specifically dedicated towards electronic vehicle battery operations, and recently signed an MOU with a Chinese company that will begin electronic vehicle battery manufacture, and so we look forward to hopefully having Korean investment in this space as well. Beyond just electronic vehicles and electronic vehicle batteries, further downstream, we also seeking investments in other critical mineral-related products, such as solar panels, wind turbines, magnets from REEs, and electronics. I also included an image here, a couple of images here from of an Hitachi assembly plant. So just to show you that assembly and of earth-moving equipment and vehicles does actually happen in Zambia. So there is already it demonstrates that there is already a strong labor market and skill sets that can support the manufacturing and assembly of vehicles and these downstream products. In terms of manufacturing, being a cross-cutting activity across the different priority sectors, the country has 11 existing special economic zones that specifically targeted at increasing the manufacturing capabilities of the country. These include multi-facility economic zones as well as export processing zones. And as I mentioned earlier, with one specifically dedicated towards critical minerals processing. In addition to the general investor incentives, those that are manufacturing in a special economic zone benefit additionally from a 10-year tax holiday on profits declared on profits, as well as on dividends declared on exports. And again, the low cost of labor allows for the reduction in the setup costs for investors. I wish to point out some of the top traded products between Zambia and Korea, which will show where there's potential to increase the manufacturing locally within Zambia. Zambia's top exports to South Korea are tobacco, refined copper, precious metal scraps, iron and steel, as well as tea, coffee, and spices. South Korea's top exports to Zambia include plastics, synthetic fabrics and apparel, electronics, pharmaceutical products, and chemicals. And the hope here is that we can leverage off of our already existing trade and our respective strengths in these areas to increase manufacturing and value addition in Zambia. Moving on to agriculture, the two, I think, highlights or sort of high-level highlights are that the agriculture sector in Zambia has great potential to supply staples within the region, and that there are also attractive opportunities in beyond just agriculture, primary agriculture, but also in agro-processing in the country. The country has 42 million hectares of arable land, of which only 15% is currently cultivated. Again, just to emphasize, we have a very high concentration of water bodies, and so this allows for irrigation of crops, but also aquaculture potential as well. The government is actively creating opportunities to scale up agribusiness, and one of the notable initiatives is that of farm blocks. There are 10 farm blocks, one in each of the 10 provinces of Zambia, each of them comprising of 100,000 hectares. And so this brings a total allocation of 1 million hectares of farm blocks. The farm blocks will benefit from backbone structure, roads, utilities, silos, and will also have an anchor. They're sort of structured to have a combination of commercial, medium-scale and small-scale farmers. And significantly, they also benefit from additional tax incentives for those that are growing but also processing it within farm blocks. So in agriculture, the high-level incentive is that income tax is charged only at 10% of farming profits, which is significantly lower than the standard corporate income tax rate in the country of 30%. Some recent successful investments in the agriculture sector include OFI, who are now exporting 4,000 metric tons of coffee annually, and I'm told that Zambian coffee is actually quite popular in South Korea. Then we've also had a recent investment by Dutch development banks into one of the biggest agribusinesses, being Zambia's. There was a 22.5 million investment, allowing for an increase in primary crop produce, as well as the development of edible oils and expansion of its cold chain food operations. Some projects that are available for offtake and investment include Aglo Luswishifa, which is a facility for agricultural produce, eggs and livestock feed. There is a cassava processing plant in Livingston district in the southern region of Zambia, as well as a cashew nut processing plant just outside of the capital city. And these projects range in cost from $5 million to $50 million. And again, we'd be happy to share further information on these and other projects profiled in agriculture sector. The fifth priority sector that I wish to give you some highlights on is that of tourism. Pre-COVID, the country would receive annually 1.27 million tourists with an average annual growth rate of 8%. The tourism sector contributes quite significantly to the GDP, and contributes it did at pre-COVID, contributed 7.7% of the GDP. The vast majority of visitors to Zambia travel for business, 56% travel for business, 27% travel for leisure and holiday, and the remaining just above 15% comprises visiting and miscellaneous travel. Again, pre-COVID, total tourism revenue in the country was just below $1 billion US, and it also accounts for 12.8% of Zambia's exports. You will be. Oh, sorry. So you will also be interested to know. Sorry, the water was supposed to help, but it's supposed to. You'll be interested to know that South Korea is one of the major source markets for tourism in Zambia, but we also have a number of visitors from America, US, Australia, and other regions in Asia. So as previously mentioned, you can see that Zambia is an adventurous paradise, right on the edge of the Victoria Falls. We have a number of compelling attractions, including apart from the Musotunia Falls, we also have, for example, the world's largest mammal migration and the world's largest man-made lake. And some recent tourism investments include a $30 million project, which was the Ciela Resort, a 249-key facility, as well as the Ila Safari Lodge, which is an ecotourism facility in the Kafue National Park. And some investment-ready projects in the tourism space include the renovation of 11 lodges under the hostel that currently are under the Hostel Board of Management of Lodges, and the Kasaba Bay Resort, which is in the northern province of Zambia. Again, happy to give further information on those. An overview in terms of the fiscal and non-fiscal incentives. Zambia has signed tax treaties and has tax credits with 21 countries, which include the UK, France, South Africa, and Kenya. All of the priority sectors that I've spoken to, as well as some others, all benefit from the 0% import duty and accelerated depreciation. There are additional tax incentives, as I mentioned, for specific sectors like the agriculture sector, mining sector, and for manufacturing in special economic zones. Further, all investors will also benefit from anti-nationalization guarantees, and Zambia is one of the countries that allows for complete foreign ownership of an enterprise or of an enterprise and of land in any sector. So this brings me to the end of my presentation. I hope it's given you a fair picture in terms of what some of the opportunities are, just a little bit of a teaser. I'd be happy to take specific questions later on during the session and afterwards as well. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Zila, for that insightful presentation. So much detail. Let's take advantage when we network to interact with Zila so that we could get more details. At this juncture, I'll call upon our Permanent Secretary, Mr. Tambuyo Anamela Ganderson, to give her remarks. I also request PS that after your remarks, you invite the Honorable Minister to give his remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, MC, and good morning. Honorable Mulambo Haimbe, State Council, Member of Parliament, Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of the Republic of Zambia. Your Excellency, Mr. Andrew Banda, our Ambassador to the Republic of Korea. Dr. Ri Sung-woo, Secretary General, Korea World Association for SMES. The representatives of Hana Ecowide, Daewoo Steel, Sinyang Technology, captains of industry, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to stand before you all at the Korea-Zambia Business Country Session. On behalf of the Zambian government, I extend our sincere gratitude for your participation and interest in exploring opportunities to invest and do business in our country. Zambia's foreign policy is anchored on two pillars: peace, security, and stability, and economic diplomacy. These pillars form the foundation of our national development agenda and our engagement with the global community, including our valued partners here in Korea. Peace, security, and stability are essential preconditions for sustainable economic growth and social progress. And Zambia, as you've heard from the ambassador and from Ms. Milupi, is an oasis of peace in a sometimes turbulent region. This is something we have to keep emphasizing because for us, it is what assures political stability and social cohesion. And this is what secures predictability of business and businesses to thrive. At the same time, we're pursuing beneficial partnerships in order to unlock Zambia's immense economic potential. We see the Korean private sector as a crucial partner in this endeavor. Korea's dynamic export-oriented economy, technological strength, align perfectly with Zambia's development priorities and aspirations. There are countless opportunities for Korean businesses and companies to strategically invest in and contribute to the growth of Zambia. Zambia is open for business, and as government, our presence here is only to reassure you of our belief in private sector-led economic growth, where government is the facilitator. And so with these few remarks, I will invite the Honorable Minister to come and address you and give his keynote speech. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Ms. Etamboyu Anamela Ganderson, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation for the Republic of Zambia, His Excellency, Mr. Andrew Banda, Ambassador of the Republic of Zambia to the Republic of Korea, Dr. Ri Sang-woo, Secretary General of the Korea World Association for SMEs, the representatives of 한-아프리카, Daewon Steel, Sinyang Technology, and of course captains of industry. May I just simply say, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again, and it is a distinct honor for me to welcome you to the Zambia Business Country Session. I stand here with a message of opportunity, partnership, and co-prosperity with you all. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, perhaps I should introduce myself once again. My name is Mulambo Haimbe. I'm a lawyer by profession and substantively the Minister of Justice for the Republic of Zambia, currently acting Minister of Foreign Affairs as well. So I carry this heavy burden here to showcase what Zambia has to offer our brothers and sisters in Korea. Before I go into my speech, I would like to first take the opportunity to extend our gratitude to the government of the Republic of Korea for the invitation extended to us as the Republic of Zambia to attend the inaugural Korea-Africa Summit, which has created this opportunity for us to interact with you, the business community from Korea. This is a significant event for the exchange of information and ideas on the many investment and business opportunities in Zambia and collaboration between our two countries, and of course our peoples and our business, the various business partners. I wish to most sincerely thank our gracious sponsors for the support rendered towards making this event possible. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to now put aside my keynote address and speak to you as a Zambian above anything else. So please forgive me if my speech will be very short, but I would like to take a more practical and hands-on approach to what we are discussing today. This morning, as I was having my breakfast, and it's my first time in Seoul, beautiful city, as you can see just looking out the window, we have a beautiful sight there. quite significantly different from Zambia. And that should be the first starting point for us all in terms of what do our people, respective people, want to see. Are they used to seeing this beautiful site and want to see a different beautiful site? Ms. Milupi talked about safari lodges. It's an experience beyond any other. A starting point for those who are interested in the tourism sector. But I digress. I was saying it's my very first time in Seoul. And as I was having my breakfast yesterday, and this morning as well, I noted that with each food category, there was in brackets a source where that food is coming from. I noted the pork in particular, just as an example, is coming from the US, United States of America, in both places where I stayed. That to me is an indication of what we can do together. I've done a quick research. The distance between the USA and Korea is 10,736 kilometers. The distance between Zambia and Korea is 11,736 kilometers. 1,000 kilometers difference. Can you not get your pork from Zambia? Food for thought, isn't it? The pun is intended. This tells us that the opportunities for us to share together in what we have are real because it is happening as we speak. You are able to get your source of certain foods. I'm just using this as an example. From as far away as the US, not too far away, Zambia as well. A stone throw away, I would say. So, if we put our heads together, our minds together, and understand the geography of the potential that we have, we can make this a reality. Do you agree or do you disagree? May I see some? If you can go back to the slide, slide 3. Slide 3. Now, we've talked about the geographic location of Zambia, and I realize that it's difficult to sink in without giving a sort of graphic representation. So allow me to go out of protocol a little bit. And just, yes, that slide. So, if you allow me, I'll project my voice. I'd like to walk to the screen. So we've talked about the geographic location of Zambia. This is Zambia here. Above here, you have the Democratic Republic of Congo with a population of close to 100 million people. That's a market for Korean business. You have Tanzania, I hope I don't get it wrong, here, with a population of 66.5 million people. You have Angola, population of 35.5 million people. And Mozambique, somewhere there, with 32.9 million people. In total, we're talking about a market of 274.9 million people from just those neighbors I've pointed out. 300 million when you talk about 08. And all of those need basic essentials. Talk about cell phones, talk about electronic gadgets, which you, as Korean business, are renowned to be good at. This is what we talk about when we say that there is a potential for the market. Right now, there is an energy crisis in the whole of this region here. So, except Tanzania and Angola, that are able to produce excess. But they are not able to supply this region because we do not have sufficient interconnection. Another opportunity for growth of renewable energy, for even the growth of business of wheeling that power from Tanzania, perhaps through Zambia, down to South Africa, which is facing a critical energy challenge as we speak. These are some of the critical nuances of what we have to offer as a country. Just but to give a few examples. I have personally taken time to go to some of our safari lodges. and the game reserves that we have. And I can testify that it is an experience like no other, a life-changing experience, to be able to interact with nature, wildlife, fauna and flora that is unique to Zambia. Again, another opportunity for our people to interact together, to share in what we have in the tourism sector. I can certainly speak for many Zambians that they would want to come to Korea and see what you have, the beauty of Seoul, for example. So I decided to put away my speech so that I could speak, as I've said, as a Zambian, from the heart. And I'll now put on my hat as Minister of Justice. I can tell you that the legal environment that we have created in Zambia is one that will protect your investment. That is where our focus is. And that is certainly a reason for you, as Korean business, to consider coming to take a look. Let me leave you with one other fact. I think the ambassador spoke about the water bodies. We have about 40% of the water bodies in our region. And some of the key interesting facts that you might want to know, for example, which we take for granted as Zambians. The mighty Zambezi River has its source in Zambia, in a place called Winilunga. Very innocuous seeming, but when you look at what it brings forth, it's something that each and every person that doesn't have that knowledge would want to go and see for themselves. So that's another interesting fact for tourism. We have in excess of 400 falls of various sizes, but 17 of spectacular nature. Very interesting, without full potential being realized in terms of development around these particular water bodies, around these falls. One of them is Lumwange Falls, which is somewhere in the northern region of the country, off a river called Kalungwishi River. Why is this an important or interesting fact to know? It is actually the largest falls in the country, larger than even the Victoria Falls, in terms of in-country, because Victoria Falls is shared with Zimbabwe. But this fall sits entirely within the country, within Zambia, with a height of 30 to 40 meters, and a width, of over 160 meters. The Victoria Falls is dwarfed by this particular falls. And yet the Victoria Falls is one of the 7 wonders of the world. So what does this tell us? That we have a lot of potential for development in tourism and all the other sectors that have been spoken of. So please forgive me for taking this particular direction. Instead of speaking to the former terms, you are invited to invest in Zambia, or at the very least, encourage your businesses to come and take a look of what we have to offer. Aside from all that I've spoken about, I can proudly say we are the warmest, friendliest people in the world, well, at least in Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for speaking from the heart. I think every Zambian, every time we have an opportunity to make a presentation, we always speak from our heart. For me, Honorable Minister, my takeaways are 3 words: partnership, opportunity, and co-prosperity. I think even the PS kept on talking about partnership. I think that's what we are looking for. We're looking for partners. And as the Honorable Minister ended, he said Zambia is open for business. And him being a lawyer, he's articulated the conducive business environment that we have as a country. You're hearing it from somebody who is in charge of the Ministry of Justice. So let's take an opportunity and visit Zambia and look at the opportunities that are available and engage our Zambia Development Agency further. At this juncture, I'll open it up for the Q&A session. If you have any questions, regarding the presentations that was presented, or you have any reaction to what His Excellency said, please just raise your hand, then we'll pass on the mic, then you can make a comment.
It's going to take 1 minute. Sorry, I just forgot before. Today, two things. One of my umbrella area, there are 5 over the corporations, but today I will shortly introduce to you a very magnificent, important part of the world, especially in Zambia. I forgot one thing that today President Kim Soo-hyun is one of the who providing this place. Please let me give her a big hand. Second is very significant thing is they have a word, and the company is going to be have going to investment into Zambia, and going to have a regional headquarters distributed, and going to have manufacturing and distributed not only Africa but also the European country. Why? 2 reasons. One thing is that land expenses. Second thing is labor cost is more competitive other country or other place. The company is somewhat small companies that produce, reduce coal smoke emission. It's very important in the part of the world. The company to UN to ready already to have distributed worldwide. And they wanted to go in first country to go to the investment in Zambia. Because the location I told you before, Zambia is very reasonable area of the connected with different different African headquarters. It's essential, very easy to distribute it. All nations covered Africa. The company, the product is fuel, energy consumption. Because why? It's complementary conversion to energy. It's very simply to installing your car exhaust pipes automatically reduce your carbon and different coal emission, dioxide also, to have your countries clean. And one thing more, if you do that, you can have a request to the UN and funding, also Korean funds. We have in Korea this year $60.2 billion for yours, not for Korean people. It's an abundance in a project. I will shortly introduce to you to that. 좀 보여주실래? 한번 보여주시면 the real samples that I will introduce to you. And this sample is made by stainless steel and made it as a wonderful. She has patented the world already in the United States, in European, also 63 countries in the world already confirmed verification, or including all FDA confirmed. So really wanted to go to the quickly promotion of the working with Zambia. All right. Okay. 좀 줘보실래요? 이쪽 장관님만 보여주실래요? 가져오셔서 주의해보실래요? 이쪽 장관님 한번 보여주시죠. Its potential in Korea is made up. In Korea, original is cost $400 and $500 one piece. But if you produce in Zambia, less than $400, maybe less than $100 more easy. It's really a highly competitive product, and to all of the world, quickly to reduce carbon and UN climate convention conditions is important. Steady energy also is power engine up, and 30% of the reserves, is gasoline, your air. Not only car, but also ship. Also, more type of factory you can use it. This device is very important. Okay. All right, continue.
Thank you very much, Doc. any other intervention? There could be some who may want to speak in Korean. If there's anyone who would like to ask a question in Korean. Maybe Madam Yan, you could just come through. We just want to get a feel of somebody who went to Zambia. His Excellency last month took some investors to Zambia, and we just want to get some feedback on how their experience was like. I'll ask Mr. Kim to come.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for giving me opportunity. Because I was visit Zambia 1 month ago, and I was afraid because it was first time to visit Africa, but was amazing. Was a very, I think, a surprise. I feel it's Zambia is the center for regional, I think, business opportunity. As ambassador, also minister explained, there's 8 countries around Zambia. I mean, logistically, if you invest, you can do a lot of things. Only export, also import. So also in Korea, we have a lot of advantage, also advanced technology to introduce Zambia, like energy sectors and ICT. So I'm very impressed, Zambia investment. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Jean Bolemi. I think I would like to speak a little bit in Korean so that all Korean here will feel comfortable listening to what I will say. 미안하지만 한국말로 잘지 않고 그냥 짧게만 얘기하고 설명하고요. 아까 사장님이 지난 3월 같이 잠비아 갔었어요. 나도 아프리카 사람이지만 제가 공화민주공화국 사람인데요. 근데 이렇게 아프리카 방문은 좋은 지는 한 번도 안 했었어요. 이번에 잠비아 가서 진짜 좋고 살짝 같이 또 움직이자고 있었어요. 근데 이제 진짜 관광객 가면 진짜 재밌어요. 그것뿐만 아니라 인베스트먼트 섹터도 아주 잘하고 있어요. 아주 모두 여기 설명하는 말 진짜 많아요. 한 번 더 잠비아 가서 눈으로 그냥 들으면 아니라 눈으로 직접 보고 보야 돼요. 그것만 말하고 싶었어요. 감사합니다.
I'll just ask our interpreter just to interpret. We call her Chanda in the mission. She's acquired a Zambian name.
Yes. I'll translate what he has just said. I'll speak in Korean in a very shortly. Just now, the president of Give and Take, who just spoke right now, actually we went to Zambia together in March. So we had a great time there, and I'm actually a Congolese national, but it was also first time for me to go to Zambia, and it was I had a very great time, not only to explore the tourism assets, but I really was able to see the great potential Zambia has in terms of the investment and many other sectors where Korean can also collaborate. So I hope you all get to visit Zambia and see yourself the great potential that Zambia has. Thank you so much.
At this juncture, I will invite the GBA chairman, Mr. Oshinan Ostek, to give a vote of thanks.
Actually, I'm not African, but I love Africa. I live in South Korea almost 27 years as a businessman here. 여러분 반갑습니다. Just let me just give two minutes to Korean people to introduce your beautiful country of Zambia. 여러분 저희 잠비아는 지금 아프리카 인구가 14억 정도 되고 있는데 14억 인구가 지금의 인구지만 25년이 좀 됐을 때는 잠비아 포함한 모든 아프리카 인구가 50억 거지 30억 정도 될 예정입니다. 그래서 출생률이 제일 많고 아프리카 중에 특히 잠비아가 젊은 사람이 제일 많기 때문에 우리한테는 약간 좀 멀리 있는 국가이지만 직항으로는 지금 이티오피아 항공, 이티오피아 에어라인스가 거의 하루에 한 번씩 비행기가 있고 아까 장관님께서 말씀하셨지만 아메리카와 거리를 봤을 때는 거의 비슷한 거리에 있기 때문에 저희가 앞으로 아프리카 쪽에 많은 관심을 가져야 됩니다. 특히 이번에 코리아 아프리카 서밋을 저희 대통령께서 이번에 처음으로 만드셨는데 28개 나라의 대통령 그리고 나머지 총 50개 국가가 있지만 장관급 분들이 한국에 지금 오셨습니다. 그래서 이번 내일부터 모레 이틀 동안 코리아 아프리카 서밋은 정말 중요한 이슈가 될 것 같습니다. 저희가 멀리 있는 국가이긴 하지만 잠비아 같은 정말 아름다운 나라이기도 하고요. 특히 아까 말씀드렸지만 쿠플, 그 구리 쪽에 아프리카에서는 두 번째, 콩고 다음에 두 번째 나라이기도 하고요. 전 세계에서는 6번째 큰 쿠플, 니켈, 그 다음에 그런 생산을 많이 하고 국가이기 때문에 물론 저희는 중국처럼 똑같이 할 수 없습니다. 중국은 인구가 많기 때문에 많은 사람들이 가고 있지만 우리 한국 사람들은 그래도 투자 쪽에 관심들이 많기 때문에 아프리카는 지금 14억, 나중에 26, 30억 될 만한 정말 큰 대륙이기 때문에 앞으로는 많은 관심을 가졌으면 좋겠습니다. Excellencies, welcome to Korea. I think it's your first time, as you mentioned, to South Korea. We are a good NGO association in South Korea. The name is GBA. The foreign CEOs from 65 countries, we are now together. We do great export and import from different countries. And also we have 18 countries, African business people who live in Korea are the member of our association. I think we have many sectors to do something between Zambia and Korea, but the most important issue is the tourism issue, Excellency. Because every year from South Korea, we have 21 million tourists outbounding. That means the same population of our beautiful country of Zambia, right? So every year, 21 million tourists going somewhere from South Korea. 21 million different people. So total number is 13 million tourist number we have in South Korea. I think, first of all, we have to introduce your beautiful country to Korean business people. But we are not same as China. China has a huge population, right? So maybe millions of Chinese can immigrate to Africa. But this issue is not same as Korea because we have only 51 million population. And the biggest companies, the $1 billion companies, owners are very hesitated to move in that age to some other country. So I think we have to concentrate second generation. We have very smart people. I mean, the big companies, owners, the second generation are very smart. The age is like 20, 30, and 40 ages. They love Africa. They want to move somewhere to increase the company revenue every year. So that's why I think the homework of Zambia in South Korea, we have to concentrate. The first business is tourism one. Let's move this beautiful country of Korean population to the Zambia, first of all. You have very young generation, 21 million population is great one. Good location for logistic. As Excellency explained, like 370 million neighbor countries is a big potential of South Korean people. So this is the time, and this summit is the first time in South Korea. Korea-Africa Summit is a big turning point for also Korean business people to know what is Africa, why Africa is beautiful, and why Korean business people move to Africa. That homework solution is, I think, in this summit. Thank you so much for coming to Korea also. And just only the last thanks to your embassy people here. I'm very close with your family here. They are really great people, especially your ambassador, Mr. Banda, and also Mr. Zondi here, and also Miss Ray, also Hamabi, and also Anastasia that I know, who I know in your embassy. Very active people, as you mentioned, very kind and very smart people. And soon, I think, the future is in Africa, and the starting of this beautiful future will be Zambia. Last week, there was another event in South Korea, and the title was beautiful. The capacity of Africa, the possibilities of Africa through Korea will grow more. And do you see that slogan? I love it actually. ZDA, Investment for Prosperity. 여러분 저기 왼쪽에 오른쪽에 있는 그 간판 한번 보시게 되면은 우리 한국 국민들이 아프리카에 투자하게 되면은 돈만 보는 것이 아니고요. 전 세계의 번영을 위해서, 프로스페리티를 위해서 정말 아주 큰 역할을 할 테니까 let's be a beautiful bridge for this beautiful effort and prosperity. Thank you so much for coming again. 감사합니다.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you. Thank you. At this juncture, we've come to the end of our session. I'll just request that we network for a few minutes. Our Honorable Minister has a busy schedule, so we request that in a few minutes we can interact. And I'm aware that also our Permanent Secretary has an engagement at 14 hours. So thank you very much for coming, and 감사합니다.
자, 찍습니다. 여기 보세요. 하나, 둘, 셋. 하나, 둘, 셋.